Show me what democracy looks like. Communities are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
These protests for the Black Lives Matter movement show that there is a lot of hatred for the police. While some may be fighting for the justice of all, many are fighting just for Black lives and ultimately fighting against the police. Not all understand the purpose of the Black Lives Matter movement, and many tend to believe that it's anti-police. But really, the movement was created to fight for justice. Justice for Black lives doesn't mean being against the police, and justice for police doesn't mean being against Black lives. Blue Lives Matter is about fighting for police justice and the well-being of all, including African Americans. We created this Blue Lives Matter documentary to show that these movements weren't created to be against one another, but were established to create more of an alliance for the justice of all. This movement's mission statement is, Blue Lives Matter seeks to honor and recognize the actions of law enforcement, strengthen public support, and provide much-needed resources to law enforcement officers and their families. For this documentary, we will talk on each of these issues to make sure we enlighten students and the public of the injustice against the police and the importance of this movement. Our goal is to strengthen the support for police and improve their image within the community.
For two groups that are often at each other's throats during controversial events such as civilian shootings and killings, both Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter share some key similarities. Basic ideals of both of the groups involve more transparency of police forces and information regarding their investigations. The goal of Black Lives Matter is not to simply end shooting of unarmed black people, but of all civilians. The job of police officers is to reduce all violence and crime in this country, so those goals do align. Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter also both agree that education of both the public and police through the use of programs will aid in decreasing the tensions of the community and police to prevent things such as civilian shootings. This goes against the misconceptions that Black Lives Matter is inherently anti-police and the Blue Lives Matter is inherently anti-minority. By looking at the similarities of the two groups, one can attempt to find a middle ground in the ideas represented by the two groups and find an end to the conflict.
Policing in America has changed drastically in recent years due to numerous reasons. For example, police overreach or abuse of authority on the police part, and blatant lies and misleading by some citizens within the communities across the country. It is causing less proactive police work and resentment between police officers and citizens, which benefits no one other than criminals, at the expense of victims and, most importantly, community relationships. Police departments and citizens must ask what they can do to better assist and serve each other. To make real change occur, we must begin to form a dialogue between the police and the community. Many departments or even individual officers have begun implementing ways to open the communication and understanding between themselves and the community. The most recent and most embraced policing philosophy is community policing, which has essentially replaced the broken windows policy. The broken windows policy forced officers to focus their efforts in high crime areas, hence the broken window name, and have zero tolerance even for minor infractions. The goal was to prevent higher level crime by enforcing even the most petty offenses. It has now become apparent that this is not very effective.
As you can see, we're back in my office. As Officer Valdez said, community policing is about interacting with citizens to form partnerships for a better community and include them in what we do. Officer Webster was also correct. We do engage children at an early age to build a rapport by greeting them at school and participating off-duty in the Shop with the Cop program. The Citizens Police Academy and a ride-along are encouraged for an adult to experience police work to help lay the foundation for better partnerships. Another way to help build trust between the public and police is the on-seeing eye of the body camera.
Given the recent climate towards police, the Huffington Post ran an article highlighting the pros of community policing. It showed the bond of police and citizens during their moment of need. One story of an African American woman whose son was shot and his two friends lost to another pointless and senseless murder only knew about the police through others' experiences. She was soon able to experience firsthand their professionalism and eventually built a relationship with the police throughout their investigation. She now utilizes this partnership as a liaison to to communicate with the kids in her community.
As Daniel said, body cameras are a great way to help create these bonds of trust between police and the community. Dustin will now share the pros and cons of these body cams.
Prevent cases like Ferguson and Baltimore, where there was no way for the public to know for sure what had happened. Body cameras could make the streets safer for both police and the general public. By having body cameras continuously on could also help improve the public view of policing. Body cams are seen as an invasion of privacy to some people. And if the cameras are running all times while involved in a case, all bystanders might be in those videos when shown in a court, and they might not want to be on the news or be as a witness in court. The cost of the body cams and the proper training to use it will cost a lot, and it also will come out of state funds. Another con is that you don't know who gets to see the video and what they delete before it's actually released to the public or for the court to view. Also, a body cam can be easily knocked off and turned off while an officer is in an altercation with a suspect.
This wraps up the section talking about police body cams. There are many pros and cons as to what wearing these cameras will do for the police and how it will add credibility to police counts and crimes. I will share on the topic of violence against the police and what the Blue Lives Matter movement will do for the nation. The public is often too quick to react to situations involving violence with the police. Many don't know the full story of what actually occurred at the scene or why the police reacted in such a way, but instead are quick to make judgments that the police were wrong and justice is needed for the people. Our argument that police are here to better the nation can be used to enlighten many about how hard these law enforcers actually work. A speech given by Joseph D. McNamara, a former chief police in California, he shares that the public should stop and realize that American police put in the work so they can get the trust they really deserve. In this speech, McNamara talks about how the public doesn't appreciate the dedication and passion it takes to be in law enforcement, but instead they complain that we don't have enough freedom or that our rights are being squished. But in fact, however, police are not actually hurting the nation, but helping as best they can. However, this is not the case for all police officers. There have been cases like the 3rd Shift Terror Squad, where some officers were found terrorizing certain racial minorities in the south side of Providence. Law enforcement is not perfect, yet they are doing what they can to provide safety to the community. The Blue Lives Matter movement will help to better educate the public on how hard these officers work to give the people justice. Through the use of body cams and more community education like this, the public may respond with more respect and appreciation for the hard work of our officers who provide us with a safer America.